The WBC, the World Baseball Classic, people don't realize it's been around since 2006. But it changed this year because you had really good players who were deciding to play. Mike Trout decided to play. Now, the other countries, they want their players to play because this is their true World Series. And the atmosphere was wonderful. Now, you had some people who did say, oh, I don't want our players out there. There's freak injuries there. Edwin Diaz got injured. I mean, that would never happen again. He got injured celebrating, okay? Jose Altuve, that's a baseball injury, broke his thumb. But I understand the concerns there. They're valid, but only with Jose Altuve. Diaz, he's just jumping up and down. Last year, the World Series had an average of just over 12 million viewers per game. Japan's quarterfinal game against Italy totaled over 64 million. Shohei Ohtani, he gained over 2 million new social media followers since the start of the tournament. So this is a gold mine for Major League Baseball. Baseball has had an unbelievable start to the season, and we haven't started the season. But WBC, they're going to, we got to wait 3 more years. But you had the scenario that you wanted. It was the United States against Japan. John Smoltz, who was on the call last night, joined us yesterday, and he said this.
I got this sneaky suspicion that maybe late in the game, if Team Japan is up, you may see Shohei Ohtani close it out. And would it be something more than theater that if Shohei Ohtani with 2 outs and a runner on is facing Mike Trout for the chance to win the WBC either way would be pretty incredible if it actually happened.
That's John Smoltz yesterday, and this is how it sounded last night on Fox Sports 1.
Ohtani's ready. Trout's ready. 3-2. He struck him out! Ohtani strikes out Trout, and Japan's back on top of the baseball world.
Yeah, Japan has won it a couple times previously, and now all of a sudden, in case there was any argument, the most valuable baseball player around the world is Shohei Ohtani. The most famous is Shohei Ohtani. And he'd be famous if he was pitching. He threw 100, 101, 102, and then he came back with whatever filth that was. Looked like a wiffle ball slider, and Mike Trout went down swinging. I was rooting for Mike Trout, not because of the United States, but because here's Mike Trout getting a moment. And we want great players to have those moments. You want them to be on a big stage. Guys who produce, win, Kurt Gibson when he comes up there. Willis Reed in the NBA Finals. Like that moment where you go, I want you to do well. Now, they were injured and, had a dramatic appearance. Here is Mike Trout. We're waiting for these moments. And I wanted him to take Ohtani deep, just to tie the game, and then whatever happened after that. But Ohtani hit .435 for the tournament. I mean, the numbers, let me give you what he did. So he had 23 plate appearances, 10 hits, 8 RBIs, had a homer. He walked 10 times. His average was .435. His OPS was 1.345. Pitching stats 2-0, had a save, struck out 11, and they batted .152 against him.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Stat of the day brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show. Plus, I think it's good for the WBC that the United States lost. Because I go back to the America's Cup. We didn't even know about the America's Cup until we lost the America's Cup. Like, oh my God, we lost to Australia. We got to get back. None of us have ever owned a boat. None of us sail. But damn it, Australia had the America's Cup, and it says our name on it, and we want it back. You go back to 1988 with the Olympics. The reason why we had the Dream Team is because 1988 did not bring home the gold medal. They had amateurs. John Thompson was the head coach. And then you had 1992 because we're going to get that gold medal. You don't beat us. This could be good for the WBC. And I enjoyed it. I watched a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's especially with Japan. I love the atmosphere that Japan brought to the WBC. And it was on a Tuesday night. There was no competition. It was wonderful, standalone. And, it was on Fox Sports 1. It wasn't even on Fox. But it was covered. It was covered around the world. And baseball has had a wonderful 6 weeks here. New rules. You're watching more spring training. You're curious about these pitch clocks, hit clocks, batter clocks. The commissioner will join us coming up next week. But it was fun. There was an atmosphere there. There was excitement. You got to see some of these players that maybe you, on the periphery, if you cover baseball, watch baseball, and you're like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. But to be able to watch them, and I couldn't help but think when I'm watching Ohtani, I hope this isn't his biggest moment he's going to have. Because he's got to be looking at the guy at the plate and Mike Trout and going, do I want to have a career like Mike Trout? And Mike Trout's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's not on the big stage. And that's what I miss about this. And that's why I was rooting for Mike Trout, that you get that opportunity. But there's no guarantee. Even, expanding playoffs, if he's going to be able to play in more playoffs. He played in 3. And even those games, they were in Kansas City. He didn't even get one against the, Yankees. Yeah, Paul.
And Shohei Ohtani's not a kid. He's not like 24 years old. He's 28. He's in his prime. He's going into his prime.
Yeah, and he's got one more year there. And then you wonder, he's going to get one of those 12-year contracts, I'm going to guess. But you're going to get that from the Angels. You're going to have, I'm sure a couple other teams are going to go, we'll take him. We'll take it from here. But Shohei Ohtani is the unicorn. Absolutely.